Yeah. I'm going to talk real like this, like nobody can understand me.
See, I started in music. Then when I moved to Los Angeles, and I was in Chicago when Chicago was a band there. I lived in Chicago. I went to school there, American Conservatory of Music.
Oh yeah.
And got drafted, went into the Army, and then Army band. I went
You're
through all that
blowing the
stuff.
whole thing.
Oh, okay. I'll keep my mouth shut. Yeah, but
No, we're getting to know each other.
my
This is true.
my biggest part of my history from an entertainment aspect is in production and management, road management, tour direction.
Cut.
So
Anyway, hey guys, welcome to San Antonio Musicians Talk Show Network. I'm here with a couple of really crazy guys that happen to show up on time, as Bill just made this mention. Honest to God, I was setting up this gig, and I hear a bunch of people talking, and a bunch of people were the three guys. And what'd you say, Bill?
I said what was really funny is three musicians all showed up on time.
And it was scheduled for 1 p.m. They got here right on time, not a second too late. By the way, guys, with me today I've got Mike Pinto from the Chicago Tribute Band. He calls it a transit, right?
San Antonio Transit.
Get that mic up.
San
there,
Antonio
baby.
Transit.
Out of sight, San Antonio Transit. You do an awful lot of things. You're in baseball and stuff like this, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been in professional baseball for the last 20 years.
So you're a coach.
Well, I was a manager, and I was the chief operating officer of a minor league baseball team.
So you're the guy that brings all the balls to the ballpark?
No, they
Manager?
better be shipped in.
Okay. I didn't want to get too personal on that. Guys, you got anything to
don't
say
rub the
about
grease
that?
on them. You don't rub the grease on the ball. Somebody
No.
else does.
I got a guy for that.
Good. You've got some things going on, man. You came out like wildfire. I mean, really. The Chicago Transit just took over the airwaves. And how do you feel about all that, man?
Well, it's been really exciting. When I moved here from the Chicagoland area, I retired from baseball last year.
Illinois, right?
The Chicago area. Moved here. My grandkids are here, and I had a chance to watch them grow up. And I said, I want to play music, and I love horn music. I love the sound of a big band, and so I put it out there on San Antonio Musicians on the Facebook page and said, anybody out there want to play Chicago?
I wished I had known, man. I would have gone for the drummer position. That's yours.
That's mine,
Sorry.
unfortunately. I had a lot of drummers that wanted to do it, though.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yep.
Bill Casey's in the house. Bill, how are you today?
Tired.
You're on time. Aside
I'm
from being on
tired.
time. You're tired?
I'm tired.
Mike said it best. We were just talking, and he says, you've got to be the hardest working person on the freaking planet.
Yeah.
One word. What do you think? Crazy,
I don't know
isn't it?
anybody that stays busier than him. So.
Yeah. I mean, you're booked like 6 nights a week, and you go everywhere. Is it Maureen's fault, or is it just you're that popular? Let him have it, guys. Let him have it.
It's Maureen's fault that the Soul Twang band is playing as much as
It
we
is.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't be playing anywhere if it wasn't for her.
Oh, she's a blessing. She's
yeah,
a blessing to
she's-
everybody
she's
that knows her.
Booking the band. And she's booking me solo everywhere. So.
Yeah. I need
So
for her
now-
to
I
book
see
me.
you, it looks like it's solo.
We
Yeah, I
should
think
have
she-
her book us.
I think
What do
she
you think?
just does it to get me out
She
of the
already
house.
does. Sure.
I've asked her. She won't book anybody else but him.
It's
But
true love.
I've
It's
seen her
true
out
love.
there, at your shows, and
Yeah.
what a support system that is. That's very fortunate.
She
Yeah, her-
brings a whole crew of people, man. I showed up. I thought I was the only one. All of a sudden, the 12 people showed up,
Yeah.
just walking in. And they love the gig. They love this kind of stuff.
Yeah, her nickname's Mo for Maureen, I guess. And
Mo?
so we decided to, the band has decided to call her Mo Talent. Because she's our talent agent.
That's what we need is Mo talent. Mo talent.
Yeah,
we don't need no talent.
We need Mo Talent.
Out of sight. And speaking of Mo talent, Alan Bush is in the house, man. This guy's got a story from holy heck, man.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. And, we were talking we met at Fitzgerald's the other night. I had a throwdown. Did you stick around for my throwdown by chance?
did.
Did you? What'd you think?
I enjoy everything.
Not too shabby, huh?
Yeah.
You're staying neutral on me.
improving every
Cut it
day.
out. You say I expected you to butter me up, man. Come on. No, just kidding. Just
sounds
kidding.
great.
Stronger every day.
Yeah,
What's that?
Feeling stronger every day.
Oh yeah,
there you
Chicago
go.
song.
Oh yes, wonderful song.
You know your Chicago stuff.
We'll get
too,
to all
by the way.
that. We'll get to all that. But Alan, we were talking. Probably the one thing that I recall out of the bunch is you were talking. You were a manager for somebody that we know. Everybody knows Ricky Nelson.
My last client was Rick Nelson.
A little louder, brother.
My last client was Rick Nelson.
A little louder.
My last client was Rick Nelson.
I'm going deaf. Thank you, sir. We might have just blown the system out. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Rick Nelson. How in the world did you fall into that? Guys, feel free to ask him any questions. If you guys
I
have
am
questions,
gonna jump in.
How long is this show?
What?
I know all of this already.
Okay, well, I mean, it's old hat for you.
He had a business manager that I worked with and for with other artists. I had a whole slew of artists that I worked with up until then, mostly in the jazz vein.
Oh, yeah.
Flora Prem and Ayrto. I was with them for a long time. I spent 25 years in Los Angeles. And after about 20 years of doing production, road management, I had a rehearsal studio down in Culver Studios, Sony Studios now. And it was the sound stage that they filmed the original King Kong on. And I rented that. And I had Robin Ford was
That's
one
a
of my
big shop.
clients. Gary Borman was
King Kong shop? It's
King-
big. That's a big
the first
place.
movie,
Gotta
King
be.
Kong, was filmed there, yeah. And so, I mean, the New Barbarians, I mean, I had all kinds of people that would come through there and rehearse there before they were getting ready for their tours.
Have you ever booked the Well Hungarians?
No,
You never heard of the Well Hungarians?
never heard of them.
Oh, y'all don't know about
But
that
know
one
them.
either, huh?
I was working a
You
long
got to
time.
think about that for a minute.
Clever name.
I was working a lot of hours, so I basically said, I got to fold up shop. I'm just killing myself. 20-hour days, 22-hour days.
So you decided to be a musician and kill yourself in a different mode, different
I
method.
took a break. On the break, I said, I've had enough of this. I quit everybody, came back, went to pick up my last paycheck from Flora and Ayrto's business manager. And I said, if you hear of anything, let me know. And he said, well, what are you doing tomorrow? I said, well, I'm going to be looking for a job.
Wow.
And he said, do you want to go back on the road? And then he asked him who, and he said, Ricky Nelson's needing help. I went out there basically to help him as a roadie. It was my initial thing. It was a 6-week tour of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And by about the third week, we played Sault Ste. Marie. The guy that was learning how to be a road manager came out of Styx. And
The band sticks?
the band Styx.
Okay.
So he
See how these cats stay in the business.
he-
You know, one
he
way or the
decided-
other. Here I am doing a talk show. I'm a freaking drummer.
he decided that he wanted to stay with this lady in Sault Ste. Marie, and we were playing Racine, Wisconsin the next day.
The ladies will do it to you every time, right?
He never made it to the show. He never made it.
Bill's eyes are rolling.
Yeah. He never made it to the show. So basically, when he got there, pretty much when the show was ending, and the next day I was the road manager and he was the roadie.
I got to ask you this question because somebody's out there thinking about it. Where were you when you heard the news that Rick Nelson had passed?
Actually, I was taking a nap because I had a New Year's Eve gig that night. I was
Wow.
playing in L.A.
Did that
I left
affect
Rick-
your performance at all? Because I get all choked up just thinking about it, and I
It-
didn't
it
even
was-
know the guy.
It was difficult because I got the phone call from a friend of mine about 6 o'clock in Los Angeles time, and he's a practical joker, and he says, "Hey,
Wow.
Rick's
Aren't we
plane-
all?
Rick's plane just crashed," and I said, "Oh, you're full of it." You
Oh
know,
my gosh.
And he
What a
said, "Turn on
terrible
the
thing.
TV." I turned on the TV, and I started seeing the news coverage of the plane in DeKalb, and
That's just incredible.
then I started getting calls from Rick's manager because Rick and I were real close. We lived together for basically the 5 years I was with him.
Did you have sex?
No,
Good. Good for you.
I won't.
Thank God.
I won't.
Just
I
kidding.
refuse to tell those stories.
You know, it's what a sad occurrence. And I had a similar situation in that I was a booking agent for a number of years. I worked for a company called Beacon Artists.
You get real close to these guys.
Yes, you do. Certainly do. And one of the bands we handled was a group called Caisse. Bill Chase, the trumpet player.
Yeah.
And sadly, Bill and a few guys in the band went down in a plane as well. Bad weather, landing, didn't have
I don't know why
good
they had to even
visibility.
take off
and-
in bad weather. I just, but back then, I don't know if they even knew.
Yeah, I think that was a little more bravery too. Of, come on, we can do this. We can do this.
We got to
And,
get there and do this gig.
I mean, Bill was a legendary trumpet player. The band was phenomenal. 4 trumpets that just could scream.
I remember them well.
Yeah, and a fun band and great guys to be with. And so, very, very sad situation.
Talk about fun band, though, Bill. You got a lot of fun acts, when you put on your show. It's nicely structured, and I like the way you just take one song into the other, and then it goes into, what's that crazy song about Dick wants to know something, or what is it, Dick can do that?
It's called Dick the Handyman.
Dick the Handyman. He actually wrote this song. He said he didn't record it, but I'm going to one of these days.
Got a couple artists that have already recorded it. So.
Okay, cool. But okay, we got to say this. Bill Casey has written songs, one of which, it's not Big Red, it's, what's your...
Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen, the Dairy Queen commercial of which you hear all over the place. That's what you like about Texas? Or
That's what I like about
That's
Texas.
what I like about Texas. He actually wrote that thing. I'm curious to find out, are you still getting royalties?
No.
For crying out loud. Sue
No,
him.
I was stupid. Yeah.
Oh.
This was 1986. It was another time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was young.
Yeah, there weren't any branding, and I don't know very much about that. That's where
I didn't.
Mike
No.
comes in. He knows all about branding, correct?
That's that's
We hadn't talked about that, but we're talking
But
amongst
they
ourselves.
offered me a lot of money, which in 1986, that was a lot of money.
He did buy a guitar.
I bought 2 nice guitars. I bought a 1987 Les Paul and a 1987 Stratocaster.
Where are they at now?
I've sold them both.
Yeah. Don't we? At some point in time.
Robert Bonovi owns the Les Paul. I've lost track of the Stratocaster. I sold that to who did I sell that to? I know who it is. But
Probably Stevie Ray.
he's probably already sold it. Because anyway, yeah, they're gone.
1987, man.
I sold those at the beginning of COVID because
Okay,
I am a musician and this is what I do for a living. And COVID shut us all down.
absolutely.
We had no money coming in.
Absolute.
I kept us working.
Yes,
that was-
you did.
That was really a hard
little
time. I think that's when I really... Actually, I stopped everything because I felt the world was going to stop. How'd y'all feel?
Well, we stopped for 2 weeks at least.
I stopped for 2 years. I'm saying. How about you?
Yeah,
Mike,
well,
how'd you feel
I
about
was in the
that?
baseball business, and we have a
That shut
96
down.
game schedule,
Yeah.
concerts that we had planned, and
We're talking
all of that,
thousands of people. We're not talking
Yeah.
about a venue that may carry 150, 200
right,
people.
exactly. Yeah, I mean,
Thousands of
yeah.
people.
I mean, we would put 6,000 to 7,000 people in for a baseball game, 10,000 in for a concert, and all of our employees were all displaced, and so terrible situation. Baseball players in our business, careers were over because all of a sudden now that's almost a 2-year gap before they start playing again.
Right. And they can't really get back.
Yeah, you
It's
can't
tough.
you can't get the age back.
Yeah.
And new guys are coming up and they're younger and
they're stronger.
So guys
Always.
lost their careers due to COVID. We know musicians that all took a hit. A very good friend of mine is the drummer from Chicago, and I'll give Chicago all the credit in the world. They paid all their people. Their musicians got paid, all of their staff, their crew, some of their vendors, and so they
That's more than I
really
can say
took
for
care of their
myself.
band to be sure that when they came out of it, that they were still going to have the same people, and people didn't walk away, and you guys start all over again. So, but we all got hit, everybody.
Alan, what'd you do during the pandemic?
Oh, I relaxed, spent time around the house, and we kept working with Raw. Raw. We were I think 2 or 3 weeks that we didn't work, and then we were able to pick up weekly gigs. It was when the government shut everything down were the only weeks we didn't have gigs. But we always worked 1 or 2
Wow,
nights.
good for you.
I was really reluctant to go out and do anything. I got to tell you, but I started to hone in on this stuff. And started thinking, well, if I gather 4 people that are well, then we can do this. 5 or 6 people we can do, we'll be all right. And it turned out, fruitful enough. 3 cameras and and we're still holding, so.
I'll tell you, in Illinois, we were shut down completely.
Yeah.
You weren't going anywhere. It's funny, I found a photograph in my camera roll of going to the grocery store where you could only go in one direction, and signs that said,
gosh,
you
wrong
must
way?
stay 3 cars. Oh, yeah, it was wrong way. And I saw fights take place.
Oh, my God.
I saw a woman go after another woman for going in the wrong direction. And so it changed a lot how
Yeah, well,
all we
temperaments
did
were just going
life.
nuts.
Yeah.
Temperaments were going nuts. And Bill, let me ask you again about your recording these songs. Do you have more songs that you can mention right now that you are responsible for that maybe you didn't get your just due?
Yeah,
Compensation,
hundreds.
because you did hundreds. I know.
Hundreds,
That's why
yeah.
I'm asking.
Yeah.
So come up with maybe 1 or 2 or 3 songs that we may know. I don't know.
No,
But already he's got Dairy Queen under his belt. Isn't even getting paid. Shame on you, Dairy Queen, for crying out loud.
no, they paid me.
Oh, okay. They paid him. Thank you, Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
As I was saying.
They paid me outright, but they own the rights to it now, so
Yeah.
they can do whatever they want with it.
Sure.
Including have Josh Abbott re-record it.
Right.
You
and
know.
You can't-
that's a
you-
much
you
better
can't tell
recording
the
than
difference. I
yours.
still listen to that, and
Just
I still
kidding.
think it's the original.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it sounds good. It's a
In
good
fact, the
recording.
one that you hear on the radio that has been on the radio for 30-something years, it's not even me singing. They totally redid the jingle.
Oh, sure.
Because there was a line in that song that says, they got the hottest women and the coldest beer, and that's what I like about Texas. And they
Ooh,
changed.
that's a good
Oh,
line.
yeah.
And
That's
they
a good
took,
line, isn't it?
and they took that half of that
I have a
line
cold
out
beer
because they
waiting
didn't
for
like
me.
the hottest women and coldest beer, so they replaced that with DQ. That's what I like about.
Well,
So they
that
just
wasn't a
replaced
bad
that
come
whole
on
good
either.
line
Yeah.
with DQ. And that was brilliant, but
always
whatever
thought
that talent agency or ad agency was, I don't know.
How about another song? I mean, can you think of something
The Perfect
else?
Stranger I wrote in
Perfect Stranger?
1992. Nitty
That's
Gritty
what we
Dirt
were
Band
before
recorded
this.
it in 96, I think, or it could have been 95. I'm not sure. It's a long time ago. Then it was in the movie The Perfect Stranger, which we just saw recently in a thrift store. And that was a movie from the 90s. But yeah,
I seem to recall Perfect Stranger.
I still make royalties for those.
Now,
but,
Perfect Stranger, that was the cut for the movie? The
Yeah.
intro to the movie?
It's in the movie.
How in the world do you get into that kind of groove without spoiling it for everybody else?
That's all done by other businesses. That's, they license your songs.
I mean, but did you intentionally write something for Dairy Queen? Did you intentionally
No.
write something for Perfect Stranger, or did it just work?
I was living in Nashville at the time. And,
Okay, well, Nashville is the songwriters' capital of the planet, no?
And
They took wind of it, huh?
well, the people that handled my stuff were aggressively trying to market it and try to make money because they want to make money.
They want to get
Sure.
paid, yeah.
They want to get paid.
Well, that's a
that
new
one
concept for me.
Made quite a bit of money. The song I wrote that made the most amount of money was a children's song, and a girl that put out a children's album put the song on her album, and I didn't think it was ever going to go anywhere, but she ended up on the Oprah Winfrey Show.
Wow.
And Oprah Winfrey gave everybody in the audience a copy of the CD.
Wow.
And that was your gig.
That girl, her name was Kim Day. She sold millions of copies of the CD, and I'm still making money off that stupid song.
Really?
Yeah, it's a song called "The Ones That I Love." So you can Google that and download it, and I'll make more money.
You got $10 I can borrow?
No,
Well, with all this money coming in, I thought I'd ask.
You're asking a musician
By the way,
to
am I
borrow money?
an official member of the Dog Pound?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. "You Dog" has been recorded by several different artists. Brad Paisley was going to be one of those artists, and he politely declined to record it
Why was that?
because he already had a dog song on his album called "I'll Check You for Ticks."
Well, that's a catchy tune, you got to admit. I'll check you for ticks.
Yeah, it was a love song about his
Yeah.
dog.
I was checked for ticks about 2-3 years ago living on the south side. True story. No, not really, but okay. Partner man, back to you, man. Where are you gigging right now, and what are you doing presently? As if I don't know.
working around town, working at Brantley's out at in Bernie, Rock and Brew. We just did a thing there last week.
And you're presently with our friends with Classic Rewind.
Classic Rewind is at Deco Pizzeria
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday between 7 and 9 on the
7 and 9. Catch these guys. Classic Rewind. They gave me an opportunity. Actually, it was Alan that gave me the opportunity to sit in a couple of times with both Raw and Classic Rewind. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Had a wonderful time. Those guys are very talented.
We'll be at Krause's on the 19th.
Krause's on the 19th, out of sight. And let's go over to you, Bill. What you got cooking next? You got these 6 gigs coming up. Can you get them in line for us?
Yeah, actually, one canceled today because it was weather related.
Okay.
But tonight I'm at Vine in the Village with Robert Demmel. And then tomorrow I'm at Sancho's with the other band Holics. Friday with my
Claude
band.
Butch Morgan. Shout out to Claude.
Yeah. Friday's my band over the Soul Twang band at Rebecca Creek Distillery.
Now, how did you come up with the name
Soul
Twang Band? Because, listen, I don't understand it, but it's catchy.
Originally,
very much so.
Andy Walker and myself were the soul and the twang.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now it's Doug Johnson.
Now it makes sense.
Doug Johnson is the soul and I'm the twang. So it's
that makes perfect sense.
Usually the bass player.
What
the
does that
bass
make
player
Mike?
is soul and the guitar player is the twang.
What does that make Mike?
The band. We wouldn't be anywhere without
The
that.
latter half.
He says that when you guys are announcing your names.
Yeah.
Soul Twang
Twang
Band. I
Band.
get it now.
And Mike, what is Chicago got going on the tribute?
Let's see,
band?
San Antonio Transit. Our next show is June 10th, Saturday, June
Now,
10th.
is it called San Antonio
San
Transit?
Antonio-
Right?
San Antonio
Because
Transit.
actually, I was going to rename it San Antonio Transit. It should be that.
Yeah, well, I'll
Wonderful.
tell you kind of what it comes from. Chicago's original name, and a little funny story in here. So, started with Chicago Transit Authority. That was going to be their name.
Recall.
We were talking with an agent and promoter, and they said San Antonio might be a little too regional and might lock you in. Have you thought of doing something with the name Chicago but without Chicago? So there's a band out there called Just Heart that is a Heart tribute band.
Okay.
So I reached out to our graphic designer, who happens to be the graphic artist for Chicago, and said to him,
What a group of
here's
people
what
to
I'm
hang with.
thinking. And so he created a logo for us called Just Chicago, and it was fabulous. And so now I'm getting ready to have a drum head made, and I sent, this is a month, 6 weeks later, I sent him a note and said, hey, can I use this? What color do you think? And he sends me a note back. He said, I have to forward you an email I got from Chicago. They don't want you using it anymore.
Oh, wonderful.
And so the
Well, they're in
next day,
time.
I get a letter from Chicago's attorney in L.A. saying, listen, we're not making a big deal. We just like you to stop using it. It's just too close to ours. And, we don't want a conflict in the marketplace. And with me having some friends in the band, I just really didn't want to push that. And so Masa redesigned our logo as San Antonio Transit and did a phenomenal job. And I took the T-shirts that we had just had printed and had one framed along with the letter from the attorney, along with copies of the copyright that they sent along with it. So.
Wow. That's as good as a cowboy, ring, the Ring of Honor kind of poster that they have. So that's pretty cool.
So we're going to do Sam's Burger Joint on Saturday the 10th.
Out of sight.
And then
On the
we're
10th, Sam's Burger Joint.
then we're doing a
That should
show
be
with
a hell of a
Henry
concert.
Pena at the end of the month.
Yeah, Mr. Pena.
The Midsummer Dance. We're doing the Sugarland Town Square concert series, which will be a really fun show in Sugarland. We're doing the Balcones Jazz Festival
Out of sight.
on the 28th of July, and then we got a few others past beyond that.
And I threw my name in the hat. We'll see what happens. Hey, so I don't know. Let's see. Partner man, we're going to start with you on most memorable silly moments, because that's what really has hit on the show. I want you to start thinking about something that happened to you at a gig that's absolutely off the chart. Something that's funny, because that's what this is. It's more or less a comedy talk show.
I've been trying to stir
Comedic
up some
in nature.
things. I mean, at the gig, I would have to say it would have been Summerfest in Milwaukee. And we had a police escort coming from the airport. We get there, we're late. I mean, it was at that point, it was on the Pabst stage, and we had the largest audience in their history up until that point. This was with Rick Nelson.
Wow.
And we didn't have a chance to do any sound check. We got up there like 20 minutes after we were supposed to have actually started. They needed to test all the mics. And so I went up and started talking into the mics, and everybody always goes testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1,
Sure.
2, 3. It drives me absolutely nuts.
Yeah,
when
me
I hear
too.
that. So I just started talking in the mics, and I started asking the audience, ask me questions about Rick Nelson. So I did a question answer with the audience to do the mic test for the mics.
What a great idea.
And it worked out really good, and I had a great time doing it.
Oh, wonderful, man. That's, I mean.
But one of my funniest things was the first tour that I did with them. This was the Canadian tour. Bobby Neal, he did lead guitar for Freddie Fender and a lot of other people. He was out of West Memphis, Tennessee, but he was really, he could copy James Burton and almost 10 other guitarists to the T. He was real good. But
Bill was a studio musician. We haven't talked
I know.
about that, but he really was.
He could make all these sound effects with his voice. So I'm in my room and hey, Alan, come down here. We got this stray cat. We fed him some milk and he went underneath the bed. He's underneath the bed. So you got 4 guys in the band are all trying to act like they're pulling a cat out from underneath the bed. And Bobby says, I got him. And he makes all these cat noises and starts scratching on the carpet on the bottom. And he said, he's going to claw me. Or it just went crazy for about maybe 5-10 minutes, and then I finally realized that there was no cat under the bed.
So he was just jerking your chain?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was a memorable moment.
All right. And Bill, do you have a most memorable silly moment that you can think of, man? I'm having a difficult time pulling one. I thought of several, and then all of a sudden I'm just like,
Now I've got
That happened.
hundreds and hundreds.
I know. Marius
But-
Perone says, I don't know if I can say any of them.
Oh, I can say Eddie Rabbit was a notorious practical joker.
Really?
Yeah. He got me the very first gig that I played with him.
I love that song you do. Well, I love the rainy nights.
Yeah, that's
Love.
one of his bigger
That's
hits.
just a great song.
He was pretty loose and easy to get along with, and the very first gig he said, hey, I don't want you to feel locked to your little place of the stage. I want you to be able to move around. If you're playing a solo or whatever, come up front and do whatever you want to do, and the only thing I'm going to ask you is don't touch my guitar. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to touch it.
He tells you not to touch his
No,
guitar.
don't touch my guitar. I'm like, okay. I never had a thought to touch it until we got to sound check.
I would have.
And then we got to sound check, and I tested all my guitars and my stuff because I played the multiple of instruments with him. I did mandolin and dobro and guitar, acoustic and electric. And the sound man was, okay, strum a few chords on Eddie's guitar. I'm not touching that guitar. He said, just strum a chord on it. I just need to get a thing. And it wasn't plugged in or anything, so I wasn't going to touch
It
it.
sounds terrible already.
Yeah, I wasn't going to touch it. And this went on for probably 20 minutes where I was just arguing. And unbeknownst to me, Eddie was right backstage waiting for me to touch it,
Oh, my gosh.
And the sound man was just starting to get really angry. He was like, don't make me run all the way up there and just to test this guitar. Just plug it in and strum it. And I'm like, pick it up and plug it in. And he's right behind me. And I look at the guy, I go, he's right behind me, isn't he? Is you having fun playing my guitar that I told you not to touch?
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, he got me.
How about you, Mr. Mike Pinto?
You know what? I have nothing I can follow up that. I mean, that's too good. I think back in the olden days, our band had a sound check. I went off to go grab a bite to eat, got plenty of time, and I'm on my way back, and I get hit in the rear by a police officer and get in a car accident. And now I should be getting ready to walk on stage. Instead, I'm filling out police reports and having my car towed. That was so. As I
That's
think
most
back
memorable,
to the
hideous moment.
Yes, exactly.
But funny from the standpoint, it held you up from the gig, huh?
It helped me up from the gig. So, I was.
Were you late?
30 minutes. Yeah, I was 30
Wow.
minutes late. Had to, back then, no cell phones. So now I'm trying to get a hold of somebody hold of somebody at the venue to reach one of my band members who can come and get me. I'm 10 minutes away. Now I would have thought
can't
since
even
the
make
police
it on
officer
time.
hit me from the rear that they might have got me a ride as I think back about it. But as a kid, I didn't know any better.
Well, my most memorable silly moment happened on April the 1st, of which I had lost track of days, but I was setting up for April 16th concert. I was just working and doing this and doing that. And I'm shopping, and all of a sudden I call my right-hand gal, Lil Gonzalez. Thank you, Lil. And it's Saturday. And I felt it was Saturday. I didn't know what day it was, but I felt it was Saturday. And she calls me, and she says, hey, I'm saying I'm like losing days, man. I don't know what's going on. I'm just working too hard, this, that, and the other. And she said, well, it's Sunday already. And I said, what? It's Sunday? I lost a whole day? And I can't believe it. It actually happened. Saturday's already passed. It's Sunday. And I went through the whole day feeling just absolutely terrible about missing a whole day. And by the end of the evening, I guess about 11:30 in the evening, I ended up calling her and saying, I still can't believe I lost another day. And she said, April Fools. And I was like, why did you do that to me? I've been busting my chops over having lost the whole day, and here it is. It's a fictitious April Fool's Day, and that was a most memorable April Fool's acknowledgement.
That day has gotten a lot of people over the years.
But, to have her do that to me at the time that I needed every single day that I could get, I almost gave up there for just a moment. You know how that feels.
I have a good April Fool's story.
Tell me.
Once again, involves Eddie Rabbit, the notorious practical joker guy.
Practical joker,
Yeah.
in fact.
So we are doing a show with Ronnie Millsap, as many of you know is blind.
Yeah.
And Eddie's talking to one of the guys in the band to go help him do the practical joke. And what he did is before Ronnie Millsap
He enlisted a lot of people, didn't he?
He enlisted a guy from the band. I don't think it was me. Some other people in the band said, that was you that did that. I go, no, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. But they went over to his keyboard. He had a synthesizer on top of his piano. And they turned it around to where the keys were facing the wrong way. They were facing away from him, in other words, on top of his piano. And he's
Wonderful.
playing the song. He's doing his concert, and Eddie's backstage just laughing, getting ready for him to reach up there to play. and he can't stand it. I'm standing right next to him, watching his face, and he's just having a ball. Anyway, it's right in the middle of the song, there's a synthesizer solo, and Ronnie reaches up to get the keys, and he's like. So he stands up behind the piano and he plays the solo backwards.
Wow.
I saw somebody do that. I can't remember the piano player. He was laying down, and he just reached up and started playing.
He
they
played
have a
it
method by
backwards.
which they do that. I don't know.
And
that
that song
method.
got over, and he was like, "Whoever did that, you're fired."
To show you how similar sports and music really are in the
I'm curious. I
the
couldn't find
dynamic.
the parallel. I could not find sports. My coach always kicked my butt for being a musician. Long hair, all that stuff. So tell us.
So, I've had a couple things. So I'm walking through the lobby on the way to get to the bus to head over to the ballpark, and I hear this incredible piano sound coming like down this hallway. I said, I got to go see this. And it's one of my pitchers. Is sitting down, he's playing classical. And so now the guys are kind of filtering in, and they're giving him a hard time. And so, you're playing all this old stuff. I bet you can't play anything current. And he just started going right at it. Really impressed. But I'll give you an idea when you were talking about the practical joke. Baseball players are at the baseball field anywhere from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the afternoon for a 7 o'clock game. There's a lot of dead time.
Oh, yeah.
Pitchers will be doing all their pre-work. And one of my young rookies was chirping about something. We should have this down here in the bullpen, or we should have this down here. And one of the veteran guys said to him, you know what Mike likes? Mike likes ideas, and he loves Post-it notes. What you ought to do is take some of these things that are popping in your head and put them on Post-it notes and put them on his door. And when he gets to the ballpark, he'll see them and know those are some of the things we want. Of course, he brings me into this whole thing as well. And so I get to the ballpark and I have all these Post-it notes, and I pull one off. Skittles. We need a bag of Skittles in the... Oh, and I'm reading some of these, and
it's the beginning
who
of
is
jelly
a
beans.
Smart aleck in this clubhouse that thinks that I need ideas? And I'm just going off. And I go in my office and slam the door. Now this kid's like crawling into his locker. Fast forward, they go out to the field to do their work. I have my clubhouse manager go over to Sam's and purchase the giant bags of Skittles. I go into his locker and I set up the whole locker in such a way that the moment he opens the wooden doors, Skittles are pouring down on top of him. And
comic relief.
I got him. Well, you have to. I mean, you have to.
You got
I
him.
mean,
You got him with
I
jelly
brought
beans.
in a losing streak. I brought an illusionist in to do a magic show, just to kind of break the tension of, we're playing 96 games in 106 days. So
My gosh.
there's not much time. You're going at it every day. It's like a tour. It's like I said. It's like the music business. It's a tour. I joke with Wally Reyes.
There's a comparison.
Yes.
For crying out loud, I couldn't get that, Bill.
So
I couldn't get the comparison of traveling around.
One of my favorite stories of his is a Crystal Gayle story.
The who?
Which one?
Oh, Crystal
the
Gayle.
One where you
I'm sorry.
the one where you were singing her part the
singing
next
her
night.
Well, that was the next gig. Well, it was like that week.
Microphone, Bill.
Oh yeah, microphone bill. Sorry.
Anyway,
Yeah, so,
do you want to tell it, or is he going to say it?
Oh,
you
no,
haven't said a word yet.
His rendition is excellent.
After
Okay, he's forking it over to him.
I see
Pass the torch.
Eddie Rabbit practical joking everybody. I decide to.
This is number 3, y'all.
I decide to do a practical joke on him, and we played a weekend. One night was in Reno, Nevada, I think, and the next night was like Window Rock, Arizona, somewhere like that. And Crystal Gayle was with us on the first night, but not the second night. She had another show to go to, so she did her set on that first night. But we were still using the same set list, the same paper set list. We didn't have iPads back then.
Yeah.
That paper set list, we were still using it, but we were just going to ignore all the Crystal Gayle set. No Brown Eyes Blue, none of that. No Just You and I. We're going to skip those songs. We get around to that time, and I go up to the keyboard player. He's the manager of the stage. Basically he decides everything.
Maestro.
I said, hey, when we get to Just You and I, just start playing it. Just he starts playing it, and Eddie's like, we're not doing that. And he's like, we're doing that, and he goes, no, we're not doing that. And he's like, with his eyes, yeah, we're doing that. So he starts singing it, and I'm singing her part because I got a pretty good falsetto.
You do. You got a great range.
So anyway, I'm singing her part.
He does.
And it was funny to me. I don't think it was funny to anybody else, but I was watching this audience, and the spotlight operators up top were going stage right. She's not there. Stage left. She's not there.
They're looking
Stage
for a
right.
she.
They're looking for her, and we're into the chorus by now. But now, her love is my reward, and they're still looking for her. And he just loses it. Eddie just stops the band. Stop. And he's like, who's doing that? And everybody in the band looks at each other and points. So
Just
we
you
get
and I.
we get on the bus later that night. And he
That's
goes,
so
all
funny.
right, I got to know who did that. Whose idea was that? And I finally confessed to it. And he goes, it was pretty funny, but don't you ever do it again.
Should have opened up a comedy talk show right there, man.
Don't ever do it again. I'm like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was the
funny,
only
man.
practical joke I got in the whole time.
Oh, that's
So,
great. That's great. Well, the payback is a biscuit.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, he didn't dock my pay or anything. He thought it was
Thank
funny.
God.
Because you were playing her part.
Yeah,
I'm sure you
the
shouted
audience
over-
liked it though.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure.
it was kind of funny. They could all see me. Well, the first few rows anyway. Spotlight operators were confused. They didn't know what was going on. They were like, "Where is
my
she?
gosh.
Where is she?" And they were-
Okay, well, with that said, we're going to move on to shout-outs. We're coming close to the end of this whole nonsense thing.
Really?
We call it San Antonio Musicians Talk Show Network. But time for shout-outs. So if there was anybody that you'd like to say hello to, your family, your friends, your associates in music, now's your chance. Mike, what do you got for me,
Well,
man?
you know what? I guess first of all, my wife.
Hey, praise God.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus.
Just had my 44th wedding anniversary.
Oh, my gosh.
So she's
Congratulations,
been through
sir.
baseball seasons and now music and coming to all the shows and loves doing that.
Amen.
And so all the guys in the band who took a flyer with me, and I said, guys, I have no idea if we'll make any money at all. But this is tough music to do. We have to rehearse to get it right.
Sure.
And so all the guys that put time in. I need to give a shout out to Sharon from Fitzgerald's, who was nice enough.
Shannon's wonderful.
Who didn't know me from Adam.
Sharon, actually.
And Sharon. And I called her and said, here's what I've got, and I'd like to do a night and see what happens. And
Well, that's where I have you on that.
yeah, and
That's what we're talking
it was
about.
crazy when
That's why when I mentioned it to her, she happened to say, yes, do
Yeah.
that. Do that and check with him.
I mean, we were going to do a
she
Wednesday
gave me the
night
blessing.
and said, let's maybe we get 50 people, and the place was packed to the gills. And so I thank her for going out on a limb and
She
saying, I'll
takes
take a shot
chances,
on
and
it.
absolutely, Miss Perkins. She is a visionary, I think, and she keeps her mind open. So these little strange ideas, like the talk show concert that showed 4 different types and 4 different styles of music, on purpose. I didn't want to do the same 3 blues bands and 3 rock bands. That doesn't, for me, make any sense at this point in my career.
Right.
And the people that were there just absolutely loved it. So, eclectic, variety, that's your cue. You're
Right?
eclectic and variety. That's your whole gig, man.
No, that just came out of necessity because I was
that's what
I was
makes money.
needing to
Let's
work
face
4 or
it.
5 days a week, so I was working with 4 or 5 bands a week.
Now listen, how
So-
do you feel? I'm so sorry. Now I'm going back and just saying, how do you ascertain between top 40 and what you want to play? Let's say you're a rocker and you want to play metal. We both know you're not going to be getting the same kind of cash for playing metal as opposed to top 40.
What would you play if
Come on now.
your absolute first choice? What would you play?
All my own music.
Yeah.
All right.
I would just play all originals all day. And then when COVID happened, I did that. I did just a thing on Facebook. I played for 2 hours straight, all original music, because I wasn't sure about the royalty situation. Are they going to hit me with some kind of thing, or somebody going to say, "Oh, you played our song and now you owe us money," or you're getting us,
Could be trouble. It's a blessing that it could be trouble.
Yeah, I just put up my PayPal address up on my TV, and I said, "Well, if you want to send me money, I'm here at this." I made more money playing 2 hours of original music at my house than I do
People sending money, huh?
Yeah,
Wow, wonderful.
The average tip was like $10, but I had hundreds of people watching, so I was flabbergasted.
So you do have $10 I can borrow.
No,
It's gone.
Jesus Christ.
You can't-
I have $10, but you can't borrow it.
I'm trying to.
don't ask a musician for money.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
Oh,
money?
as far as my shout outs go,
yeah, shout outs.
my personal manager, my booking agent, and my girlfriend just happen to be the same person.
Mo and Mo.
Yeah,
More
Mo talent. Yeah, she's Maureen's
Maureen.
in Vegas
She's
right
in
now.
Vegas. Yeah, she's losing money as we speak.
Probably sleeping as we speak.
Yeah, she went to go see her brother. She told me about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not out there partying. She's out there on business.
Oh no, she's
and
partying.
relaxing. Yeah, she's relaxing.
I told her no
say
work.
relaxing.
No work.
Yeah, good for her. So she really does bust it for you, man.
Oh, I
she really
know.
is a
She's-
great partner. Great partner and a crime to have. Everybody's wife should be as dedicated. I'm just saying, and I think they are, except for mine. I have none.
Well, you need one.
Yeah, I need one. I'm still looking.
Alan can find you one.
Here,
Alan, what's your shout out?
Let me get my book.
His black book. What's your shout out? Who'd your shout out be to?
Number one from my deceased wife, because she's the one that encouraged me to keep on going. And when I retired from USAA in 2015,
Wow, that means a lot.
I started playing back into music, and
Sure.
so
And how can you stop when it's her blessing?
yeah, her encouragement helped me with that.
Praise
and
God.
She supported me for that whole time. And then, to everybody that's been, following and supporting us from Raw, everything I've done from 2015 up until Raw, and with Classic Rewind, the people that come in and support the band and enjoy what we do and come back.
What is Homer's last name again? Gutierrez, or what was it that you told me? Homer from Classic Rewind.
Homer Gutierrez.
Gutierrez. Yeah.
Yeah, he came out of
Did I
Dallas,
say it
Fort
correct?
Worth.
I said Gutierrez, right?
Yeah, he moved
Sometimes I can't remember, but I recall that name, Homer, because he's just a great talent. Yeah. Nice guy.
He came out of nowhere. I mean, from Dallas, Fort Worth, he moved down here 3 years ago, and his wife got transferred, and he started playing down here and just working out of his house. And
I
he
talked
didn't
to
really
him
start
about
playing
helping
down
him on
here.
recording because he said he's got a recording studio, and I said I want to throw down with you. He said sure, we'll get in touch, and I haven't heard from him, but we'll get. You know how the music gig goes.
And then Phil Hearn on bass. He came from USA.
Oh, Phil is really a nice guy.
Yeah, I've known Phil for 20-some years. So.
And I played with some guy. I think his name was Roger. He plays bass with
Judy Blue.
Yeah, Judy Blue. And I played just the other night on Monday, and it's the first time I had an opportunity to play with Judy. Judy jumped up on stage. Judy. She jumped up on stage, and it was. She was just having fun with the song we were playing, that Santana song. Shout out to Abraxas, because all these guys are coming out to the forefront, and that's solid. We'll have them on the show before too long. My shout out would be to my son, my family, the Ocampo family, all you guys, but most specifically all the musicians that have ever been on this talk show, which are now hundreds of people for the past 10 years, and still working on it. It's the only audio-visual type all musicians comedy talk show in the nation, and that's what happened. Most memorable silly moments is what you just heard a little while ago, and that's coined.
Bill wins, by the way.
Bill wins, hands down.
Really?
Yeah, you win. You don't. Would you like to know what you win?
I have funnier moments that happen.
Yeah, but we don't want to hear them.
Okay.
No. We do want to hear him. But he just said. What did you just say? He wins.
He wins.
Yeah, the official San Antonio Musicians Talk Show Network door prize.
Oh, you gotta love that.
Yeah, you scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Ed, you could do a whole show with his stories.
And naturally, Mike Pinto
thank
gets
you very
one.
much.
They cost me an arm and a leg, and naturally, my other dear friend Alan Bush, he receives his honorary.
Is this your arm or your leg?
We have to get these branded.
That's my arm. That's my leg. That's my other leg. We're not talking about that.
We've got to get you branded on these things, though.
I'm telling you, yeah, we better put the name on it.
Right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
this is one
At
of
least
those things. I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine.
That's it. You weren't listening, you see. But yeah, that's the whole
This
trip
is
about
actually
that
something
one.
I'll use.
I'm telling you, man, it's not only a door prize. My other door prize, well, it's a door stop and a door lock. What do you want for a door prize? I don't hear a freaking word from you guys. What's the matter with you?
A door.
You told
Can
me
you
I was
guys
gonna-
chuckle or anything?
You told me I was going to have a surprise when I got here. Thanks for the surprise.
Surprise.
Actually, the surprise was supposed to be that you didn't know he was coming, and he didn't know you were coming. But I had to put it out there today, so everybody knew.
I saw it on Facebook.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Everybody knew. By that time, I was like, my goose is cooked. So anywho, it's always a blast to have you guys. And any burning desires here out of all this thing? What do you think about this talk show nonsense? Oh, one thing I do want to say, Urban Urbano and I, shout out to Urban and all the drummers in San Antonio, Bush, Pinto, we're going to throw down at Brackenridge Park. We're working out the logistics. It's going to be called Us Drummers. San Antonio Musicians Talk Show Network is going to sponsor it along with Urban Urbano and whomever else wants to come in, but we're the two heads. We're working on it. We get together on Saturday. All drummers are invited to the park at Brackenridge. We're going to cook out fajitas and feed our friends and work on some stuff.
Cool.
You know, we're not going to try to break any Guinness Book of World Records. That's about 3,000 people in a stadium, and we'll be at Brack. Close, but no cigar. And I don't know if we have time for all that nonsense, but still, should be fun.
Cigars come from Cuba?
All kinds of stuff comes from
So
Cuba.
is it going to be one big drum set, like the world's biggest drum set?
We're all working on that. You know, we're working on that, and we
Just make one big circle.
Well, we're talking about, you know, funding it and doing something. And Urban, I just wanted to have fun, but Urban he's like your mind, and he's like your mind, and he's like your mind. It's all about marketing, and it's all about doing it right. We only get one chance, and I'm like, yes, okay. So, you know, I'm a team player too. I mean, I want to know what you guys want, you know. Otherwise, I won't ever know. He needs his back scratched.
I want a pound of hundreds.
You want a what?
A pound of $100 bills.
Oh,
A pound? Wow.
a pound. I wonder how much a pound of $100 bills would be.
I wonder if there's some place you could type something in and search for answers. Right? I think we could probably get that answer on Google.
Isn't that Google?
Probably is.
I'll bet, right?
That's a new approach.
How much is a pound? Hey Siri, how much is a pound of?
That might could work. I don't know. But yeah, so we were on Burning Desires. Does anybody have anything aside from all the nonsense we've already discussed?
Cheeseburger?
Cheeseburger? Fries? You know,
Onion rings.
well, yeah, this is Paul Candera. He reminded me, and this is very true, you know, you can buy your cheeseburger and your fries and all that. That gets pretty expensive nowadays, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The benefit is the ketchup's free.
Yeah.
So you can have all the ketchup you want, man, with the fries. So you buy the fries, you get free ketchup.
So I'm hoping you guys can help me with something. Moving here from Chicago, the one adjustment I've really had here is pizza. The pizza in Chicago is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so what would be your go-to? This is absolutely the best.
Go to the
pizza place in
pizzeria
Detroit.
off Fredericksburg Road and go see Jacob, right?
They've got kind of closer to New York style pizza though.
Okay, and that's
Yeah.
where?
Yeah.
He has
Deco-
everything from
Deco
shrimp,
Pizzeria, okay.
shrimp pizza. He's like Forrest Gump on pizza.
Here's my plug: 1815 Fredericksburg Road.
Okay.
That was my plug. I used to, well, anyway, I did a gig there with a talk show that went out worldwide, and that's where this is going. It's going to venues now. So by the time we get to the venues, you guys are always welcome to come over and heckle and come on up on stage as well, just like you always have a mic for people. Anyway, once we do the shows live, you're actually going to hear these people chuckle, and they take interest, and we may have that interaction between audience and the participants on the show.
Most people that know me know that I don't eat meat anymore. I ate seafood, so pescatarian. But when I lived in Chicago, the roast beef sandwiches.
Oh, yeah, the
and
Italian
au jus
beef, yep.
with the green peppers. I mean, there were a couple places. I mean, it was just phenomenal. And
You're making me hungry, man.
Even their
Yeah,
street
you're
side
making me
hot
hungry
dogs.
too. I think I want pizza. I
Chicago-style
want
hot
pizza
dog.
now,
Yeah,
Mike.
Yeah.
I ate a hot dog for breakfast.
It's so good.
Single
And
life.
the Chicago
Single
hot
life.
dogs are very unique.
Yep.
Yeah.
Italian
Well, they're
beef.
wieners, man.
Yeah, they're not. They're not.
Pork.
Right?
Right.
They're not just a hot dog.
No.
It is a meal
is.
in
It's
Chicago.
different. They're real different.
And
but the roast beef always got me with the peppers and the au jus. That was
Oh yeah.
that was one of my.
I had to
favorites.
learn how to make it so that I could get it here. It was so readily available. You could go 5 minutes in any direction in
Right.
Chicago and
How
get
do
a
they
great one.
slice it so thin? It's
Yeah,
the
and
roast
it
beef.
really is. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really shaved.
yeah, but it doesn't fall apart though.
I mean, those are my. I mean, from
Yeah.
the food perspective,
Delicious.
that's what I remember about Chicago.
Yeah.
Philly sandwiches are my
gig.
gig. I mean, if it isn't Mexican food, that Philly sandwich is, something else for me. I don't know.
Yeah, they're great.
I mean, I've found great Mexican food down here.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say, how do you like the Mexican
great
food?
barbecue. But
Yeah.
again, Italian growing up with pizza and great Italian food, and so I'm still struggling to find where are those best places here in town.
I'm playing at a place Sunday that has really good pizza, probably better than any place here in San Antonio. It's Bootleggers Pizza in New Braunfels.
I saw that.
Yeah, I'm playing up there Sunday, so I'm probably going to wait till Sunday to have pizza because their pizza is pretty darn good.
Well, give me a
I
report
lived in
if
New
you wouldn't
Braunfels for
mind.
2
Yeah,
years.
okay. Not a
Shout out to New
Yeah.
Braunfels.
Yeah.
Poorhouse.
Pizza,
The
New
Poorhouse
Braunfels.
actually, I did a worldwide talk show from there.
Yeah.
I had a different engineer in my son. Now I have Marius Perron's engineer, who is Philip Antoine, 19, 20-year-old, up-and-coming, brilliant guy. Somebody that we could all use. If you guys ever have any questions, call me. We'll hook him up with you. Okay? Because he's for hire. You know,
I mean, these
I
days,
pay him for
technically,
everything he
we
does.
have to be advanced. We have to. We can't.
Look at this stuff.
do
You think
the
I
way
could come up
things
with all this?
used to be.
No. I mean, I don't know anything about this nonsense, but I'm learning.
But
you know?
forgot to turn the TV on. So
No, that's just a big screen. But yeah, these are little tiny things of which it's all about audio and video engineering.
Right.
And there was a time back in the day when I was just contracted with Ustream. I would just send them and just turn it on and just do this whole thing, and it would go right directly to them, and they'd handle everything. Nowadays, they have, the editing process over here, the codec thing over here, the other thing over here, and now everybody's getting a piece of the pie. Now it's gotten pretty expensive.
Right.
It's not the same as it was when it first came out. It is expensive. It is time-consuming. But what else do we have but a little bit of time and a whole bunch of ideas?
Not as much time as we used to.
Oh, God.
As you said,
No,
when we walked
that's why
in,
we're speeding it up, I think.
That's
Don't you
it.
think? I mean, after COVID, I feel like I'm catching up. I'm making up for lost time. By the way, I'm out tonight with Willow and Gage in Austin, Texas. I'll be throwing down with him at Broken Spoke. Be covering his band.
Awesome.
And be talking to him on break, hopefully, by 11 p.m. So with that said, I just want to thank these guys for coming out and spending an hour with me for San Antonio Musicians Talk Show Network. I'm Ed Ocampo Sr., and we're out to change the world one day at a time. So go out and go do something good for somebody today, okay? Do it today, man. Tomorrow, not guaranteed. What do you guys think?
That's
Amen.
absolutely for sure.
every day I get up, I say, thankfully I got up and got my feet on the floor.
Amen. But we got to help somebody. We got to do something good for somebody. Just a little tiny deed. If it's giving a $2 bill to, $3 to a homeless person that you see looking in the trash for something to drink. I did that the other night. This young lady was picking up and she was looking in there from the trash can to see if it was okay to drink out of. And, it just touched my heart. And I said, for the grace of God, I could be homeless. So I gave her $3, and she just lit up, man, like, oh, my God, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. No, bless you, and go on with your bad self. Get yourself something to eat.
You're making me think. My wife would always she had a couple sandwich bags.
This show's
that she
never
put
going to end.
sweets in, and then she would have them in the car when she come to the stop sign, and people would be asking her for money. She would give them a bag. I have some water in it, some things to eat.
Good for her.
How sweet.
And that was her way.
See,
of giving
live and learn on these thought processes, man.
I got
Yeah.
something today. I've been in an urgent care thing last week, and I got a thing asking me to review them. And I'd heard something, and I don't know who to give credit to, but what if we were all getting a Yelp review on who we are as human beings every day? So how were you when you were at the grocery store or at the restaurant? Were you nice to the waitress, or were you a jerk? And so if at the end of the day we all got rated on our personal Yelp review, what kind of human being are we? And so, not to get too heavy, but it's kind of along that line. I'd give your
wife
past
kudos,
wife,
man.
5-star Yelp review. That's what a wonderful thing.
That's fabulous. A 5-star Yelp review on this talk show. To your wife, nonetheless.
Yep.
Bill.
Bye, Ed.
Okay, guys, everybody wave to the cameras and say ta-ta.
Ta-ta.
Ta-ta, because
Ta-ta.
we're, we can't say hasta luego or arrivederci, or what are the other ones? Help me,
Ciao.
guys.
Sayonara.
Arrivederci, sayonara. What else?
Aloha.
Ciao.
Aloha, ciao.
Yeah.
And what else?
Wish you well.
See you when I
Vaya
see you.
Candidos.
Yeah.